All right, guys, welcome to episode 5 of the Pox and Bill show. Today, we've got a very special guest. We have the Duke of Woori, Yallock, the King of Village Cricket, Andrew Schlick himself. Schlick is a pretty special guest. He's going to feature on a number of episodes. We're looking for names. We're thinking Diaries of the Duke, but open for suggestions in the comments. Look, most of the episodes so far have been Bill and I interviewing people around their stories. Schlick's been around our cricket club for a number of years in the lower grades. He's got a number of stories about me and Bill. So we're going to throw it over to him first to maybe recall some of his village lowlights of Bill being a hothead or Pox being the king of banter or an absolute hack. But yeah, let's start off with Bill, Duke. What are your favourite memories of him on the cricket field?
I've got a few. One of the early ones with Bill that I think stands out from him being a proper hothead was it was not a single thing had happened in a game yet. We were standing out there. We were waiting for the start of the game. Bill was opening the bowling, and I think it was Webby was opening the batting for Knox Gardens. Is that right, Bill?
Knox Gardens, yep.
Yeah, and Webby seems to think that he's a much better cricketer than he is, and a bit of a big fish, little pond sort of setup. And he's standing there. We're all out there, you know. We're sort of reluctantly there on a Saturday afternoon playing Division a Million, and this guy's standing there at his mark, and he's looking at all the fielders, and he's just checking everyone out, making sure everyone's in place, and sort of counting. And Bill's standing there just like, okay, come on, let's go. It's like 1:05. Let's start. And Webby just takes his time. He's looking at everyone, and then just stops, and then sort of stands there and takes his mark. And then Bill decides that he's going to stop and then check everyone out in the field and see what's going on and make sure that everyone's where he's happy with. And then decides, oh, all right, cool, I'll start my run up now. And then Webby stops and looks at everyone again. And I don't know, it felt like it was about 15 minutes. It was probably only 2 or 3 minutes, but it was just like it's shit cricket. Who cares where everyone's standing? You're going to sky one or you're going to miss it? It's first ball. Just leave it alone.
Webby and I have had our run-ins along the way in multiple grades for multiple reasons. You know, it may have been the first ball of the game, but it wasn't the first ball of our rivalry.
You can't leave us hanging there. What do you mean rivalry?
Just along the way, I've had run-ins. I think he wanted the game stopped in the twos one day because my shirt was untucked. And
Tyler bouncing him and knocking his hat off was pretty funny that day at Menzies.
That was pretty funny. But yeah, no, a game in the twos which stands out, and it's probably not, you know, one of my proudest moments. But yeah, look, I was a young, you know, fast bowler, but yeah, we were winning pretty convincingly, and we've come out and look, I don't even know. The game was over one way or another. It was second dig. I don't know. We might have lost. Doesn't matter. I just remember we were bowling short at Webby, and he wasn't overly enjoying it. And after about 45 minutes of not pitching one in his half of the pitch, he decided that it was time to retire, give one of the younger kids a go. And I may or may not have followed him from the pitch all the way to the gate, explaining that you weren't allowed to retire fat.
Well, it's true. You can't retire fat.
No, Brad Wiseman never play a game.
Or the three of us would never get past 5 runs. I mean, we can't get past 5 anyway. But
yeah, well, look, 2 of us here have got hundreds, and you know, one of us doesn't. So just throwing that out there.
We went through this in the earlier episodes. I have 100 against the under 18 who played Vic Metro. Fact, Rob. So that's a good segue. I would like Schlick, the Duke, to tell the viewers more about his illustrious century. I think this is one of his greatest stories.
I don't like talking about it.
run us through all 22 balls and you know how good those under 12s were.
Set the scene for us.
Well, the ground was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. It was at least 30 metres square. Just massive, huge, intimidating boundaries. The short of it is I wasn't meant to play the second week, and we had about 4 overs to go, 5 overs to go on the first week, and Dana looked at me and he said, "Oh, you can't play next week, can you?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "All right, we'll send out Ty." And I had all my pads on and everything, so Ty went out and made a Golden Globe. So Dana's going, "Oh, shit, you better go out and just have a swing then." So I did, and I think I was batting with Chappie, and I hit the first one like just over, I think it was mid-on's head. Like, had he jumped, he would have caught me, and just swung at everything after that. And it was, I know the bowlers were either kids or blokes who didn't play much cricket, so it was, I don't know. I just took to them the way I'd been taken to a few times, and it was funny, apart from the kid that was crying.
Jeez, it's a bit rough.
He wasn't crying when he was bowling. He had the extreme misfortune of coming out to bat late on the day, on day one, and he survived a few balls, and I was bowling the last over of the day for some reason, and the last ball of the day got one through him and just disturbed the timbers a little bit, and the poor kid went off the ground crying, and I walked over to him and I said, "Look, mate," I said, "you're going to have way better days in cricket than this. Don't feel too bad about it." And walked back over to the teammates, and I think Brad said to me, "What did you say to him?" And I said, "Never forget what I did to you today."
I honestly think you've sold that illustrious century short. It was one of the most village tons I've ever heard of. You've come in, rightfully so, you've identified, you've come in with 4 overs to go, nowhere to be the next week, because let's face it, most of us village cricketers don't want to play 2 weeks. We've got other things going on in our lives. And you've absolutely poleaxed the shizen out of some 13, 14-year-old kids for maybe 30-odd balls, I think it was in the end, and made one of the fastest tons in Division 400 we've ever seen. And we've been hearing about it for, 4 or 5 years now, non-stop, every opportunity.
It's been longer than that. I've heard the story enough times. It's got to be longer than that.
I can't actually remember when it was. I think it was 2017, 18. I can't remember.
I think the biggest question I've got is, where's the score sheet up in the castle in Woori, Yallock? Have you got it above?
That's at Town Hall.
I was thinking you'd have it above the workbench, like just so when you're going to sleep at night, you can, reminisce on your defining moment in your village cricket career.
Yeah, it was somewhere. I don't. It was up. Well, it wasn't. It's never been put up. It sort of just floated around the house. I've got a feeling it's in the roof now.
Well, maybe that's a lockdown mission for you.
Go and find it.
Story about Bill. It's a story about you. Why don't you get stuck into me for a little bit for the viewers' benefit? What do
we want? Do we want naked Craig stories, or do we want cricket Craig stories?
You pick whatever village cricket low light you want to run through, and we'll put it out to the fans.
I mean, the best one I feel was, it was a couple of years ago. I think we were playing against Monbulk at Menzies, and it was just a day filled with great village moments. It was fantastic. There was. I think you guys touched on it earlier in the series with the hard yakka bloke from Monbulk. I'm not sure whether that got covered off in too much detail, but bloke was wearing wearing some hard yakka boots, or just some work boots. We assumed they were hard yakka, and he was. You and I picked up on it early in the day that he was running around wearing hard yakka boots, and at one point he chased a ball to the edge of the field at Menzies, and it went down the hill, and he went to go down the hill, and one of his hard yakka boots got stuck in the ground a little bit, and he just went completely arse over down the hill. These hard yakka boots just flapping in the air. But I think the highlight of that day though was Wurtsy getting his revenge on you with the square leg umpire filming, which was pretty magical.
Let's pause it there. Let's roll to the footage for that. I've got that, so I think people might enjoy this. This was the second ball of the day. It was not a golden duck. Fact, up yours, Benny Williams. Second ball of the day. So let's roll the footage. Yeah! Far out. That's a pass shot. That is village, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I was at Central, I'm pretty sure, and I had a pretty good chuckle about that because the bowling lineup wasn't strong.
It was terrible.
And I think the celebration there from I think it was the captain that caught you.
Yeah.
He was also the bloke that got Bill out, and his celebration was pretty similar that time as well. He liked the
double cobras. Gotta love the double cobras. That is the village move. You know, the double cobra is definitely something you don't see too many other places than in village cricket.
Definitely went to the David Cook school of celebrating that bloke.
Oh, Cookie.
Cookie loved a double.
But Monbulk is, though, one of those teams, though, I do enjoy playing against. They are one of those clubs that I don't think I've had too many days where things have got, overly heated or too silly.
I don't know about that.
Nah, I mean, look, a headbutt or two, chasing blokes with stumps, that stuff happens. Yeah, everybody's favourite. But I don't know. They do. They stand out there. I've got a lot of moments. I feel like with Monbulk that actual cricketing moments where you sit there and you have a laugh at stuff that's gone on. Like I remember playing up at the Monty High one day. It was Essendon star Josh Beagley's first game for Belgrave as about a 12-year-old, I reckon, and then Sasha Peters. Bowling his little left arm in swingers to a righty, he's come on to bowl and he's pitched this Yorker up on this Monbulk bloke's stumps, and I don't know what this guy was thinking, but it's gone from off stump into middle stump, and this bloke's just shouldered arms and realised he was going to get bowled, and Sasha was 13 and wasn't bowling overly quick, and so this guy at the last minutes decided to stomp down on the ball and stopped it cold under his foot right in front of middle. I don't even think we appealed. He just looked at the ball, looked at the stumps and's gone, yeah, that'll do, and walked off the field, left the ball sitting on the crease.
That's a great one. My favourite one from the high school would have to be Hammer versus Simo with a bit of Clark.
It was a big day. That was actually that was the exact same day as the infamous Wilkinson Masterson incident down at Ferntree Gully too. There was headbutts flying all over the place.
Yeah, well, the best part of it though, like Hammer was out there and he was lacing them, he was hitting them wherever he liked. He just had his eye in that day and was
lacing them wherever he liked. Clarkey kept bowling on his legs and he kept getting hit to square leg, fine leg and going for four, and proceeded to ask him could he play a shot on the offside, at which point the Hammer told him that if he bowled one on the offside he might hit one on the offside, and festivities were off.
Yeah, there was some salty language, and then I think the original chokehold. I think Goonie doesn't really lay claims to that. I reckon Hammer was the first one to dust it off on the for us, and then Hammer's wearing a helmet, and Simo decides that he's going to come up and grab him and then headbutt him right on the peak of the helmet, and actually split his forehead open, headbutting the peak of Hammer's helmet.
The stupid part of that was that the preceding day was all in good fun. Everything, leading up to and beyond 4 seconds of stupidity
Even
was
the
all
T20 during the week.
It was all in laughs. I don't know how that moment got as heated as it did, but it did, and quickly calmed down, and we all sat there and laughed about it. Still do every time we play him.
Definitely.
Cracking skull open, headbutting a lid is definitely Village.
It was incredible. The only reason I was playing threes that day was because we were playing against Monbulk where Jack was playing at the time. So I was going to play a game against Jack for the first time ever, and I got put up into the threes, and that week Jack got dropped to the fours at Monbulk.
While we're on the topic of Jack, let's we've probably got time for a couple more questions, but let's move to your brother. Let's talk about your brother. He's obviously played at Monbulk. He's played at Belgrave. Give us a bit of a rundown. Shout out to his wife for this one on his highlight or Village lowlight post our illustrious grand final defeat. Tell the story from a brother's perspective about Jack's Village off-field behaviour.
Yeah, well, it was a bit of a loose night. We hit it pretty hard. I think we as a team we worked hard to wrap the game up early on a Sunday and make sure we'd lost by about 2:30, so we could really hit the piss hard. And a few boys went really hard. I know you and I did, Pox, and Jack. I think Jack might have just decided he was going to be the clubhouse leader, and there was just complete carnage up at the ground after that game. There was the bike, Brad, Werder, and the stump, and then the bin. So Jack decided that he was going to get absolutely shit mixed, and I'd spoken to his very new wife. I think wife of maybe 2 months or something at the time. They'd only just got married around Christmas, and
I even got the photos back, I believe.
No, I spoke to Dazzler and I said, "Don't worry, I'll look after him. I'll make sure that he's all right, and you don't need to worry about him. He's not going to get too bad." And he's riding around on this bike, and a bunch of guys are throwing stuff at him, and Wurtsy picks up this big green rubbish bin and decides I'll just throw it at his head, and it looked like it missed in the footage, but apparently it got him and split his eyebrow open, and so we did a really hatchet job of patching him up. We just found whatever we could find in Tommy's room and just sort of taped him up pretty crudely, and the bleeding seemed to stop, so we didn't really care, and he kept on drinking, and it must have been maybe 2 hours later he passed out on the ground, and no one realised because he passed out behind one of the signs on the ground, and Kingy walked out, I'm pretty sure, and he said, "Oh, I think heard his brothers kicked it." And we went out on the ground, picked him up, dragged him inside, put him in Tommy's room, and sort of just left him there to sleep it off. He seemed like he was okay. The rest of us kept on going, and Jack, about 1 o'clock, there was maybe 2 or 3 people left at the club. There was myself, Brad, Wurtsy, and obviously Jack. We just like, well, Jack can just sleep it off in Tommy's room. He'll be right. And we're all just about ready to turn in, and we found wherever the hell we were going to sleep, on the floor, in a car, whatever. And Jack stumbles out and goes, "Oh, I've just called Adele to come pick me up." I've gone, "Oh, you fucking idiot. I told her that you were okay. She's going to come pick you up. You're hammered. Half your face is just massive." And the following day, Jack and Adele were getting their wedding photos back for the first time, and they'd organised for their photographer to actually come to the house and take reaction photos. Apparently that's a thing. Of them
that's more Village than getting hit in the face with a bin.
So Village. It's unbelievable. It's poor behaviour of the highest order, and there needs to be a count back on the box for that, surely. Oh. And Yeah, so she's come to pick him up, and he sent through a photo of himself the next morning with half of his face swollen up. I reckon you could probably find that one, Pox, and put it up.
Yeah, I might flick that in the credits at the end. We'll find Jackson. I gotta swear for this one, fucked up face. And chuck that in the credits.
I think he got the nickname Vagina Eye for about 6 months after that.
It's pretty bad.
Oh, closed up something fierce.
There was a lot of great stories from that day. We might have to get Wirtz on for an episode to run through mine and his, let's call it, exercise routine that evening. That they've involved quite a lot of
expressionist.
Yeah, there was a lot of experimentation between us two. But whilst you're on the topic of brothers, obviously we've got you on the show now. Jack, you're probably never going to come on. Like, you've played at Mombog, sorry, mate. Bill and I have been actively pursuing another guest. Do you want to take us through how that update's going, Bill?
Do
you know where I'm going with this?
No.
This is Billy. This is why we're never going to make it big, guys. Look, you all know that Johnny Lavelle is never coming on to this show.
Fuck right? That guy. He's not coming on.
He's here. Did you want me to get him?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, fuck off.
Okay, I'll go find him.
That is true. We actually guess now that he's talking about brothers and guests, and he's led me down the path. I do know what he's talking about. We actually look. It may very well be a brother and a father. I'm not sure yet, but we do have an exciting development. We do have Matt Lavelle is going to have a chat to us from Pittsburgh. You know, the home of cricket.
National.
Yeah.
I mean, when I think cricket, my mind straight away jumps to Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, yeah.
And guys that work for Uber.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, shit, I think most of us that play anything, lower than the twos have desperately needed Uber or as much as we possibly can. And, in he comes, and look, his dad's played enough lower grades with us all to have some stories too. And look, I really can't wait to have a chat to Matt and his old man, and particularly to his old man about his wonderful 100 that wasn't. And own up that I was the one scoring, and no, I don't care, and I don't feel remorse about leaving him short.
What about Ian's retirement game a few years ago with you chasing your 150th?
Fucking John Farnham. and look, we're not going to talk about that game. I'm
sure?
barely talking to Lockie Dyer as it is. So, it was
nice and fired up.
Yeah, well, fuck it. And the best part is, it turns out I take him a 150 anyway. So
a week before.
Yep. Yeah, didn't even matter.
Yeah.
Half your wickets shouldn't count. They're just they're from an absolute pass. I don't care what you say. You keep saying you're the leading wicket taker or going to be. Anyone can take wickets with shit. Look at Benny Steindl.
Yep, Albie. We're all up there.
Mm.
We love it. But there's an art to bowling shit, mate. You've got to be able to just throw one off the pitch on the offside, and the other one off the pitch on the leg side.
John Wade.
Yeah.
What is it, 294 you're sitting on at the moment?
Yeah, 293, 294, somewhere about there.
How many of them do you reckon were from shit deliveries? Like, legitimate question here. No provocation, no nothing.
Look, you know what? To be perfectly fair, there wouldn't be as many as there were bloody decent deliveries and drop catches, thanks to you fuckheads. But there's been a couple. Look, now that we're on it, and we've touched on him already today, so we'll go there. But Jay Simmons has got an uncanny knack for waiting for me to bowl an absolute shitter, and then just going out. Like I vivid memories of come charging in. I reckon it was the first ball of the day. If it wasn't, it was first one to him, and I've I've planted one at least 3 inches in front of my own toe. It's gone 30 foot in the air, but straight down the pitch. And Jace, being a left-hander, has squared up to put this thing at Menzies somewhere into, I don't know, sassafras or something. He's going to launch this thing. And then at the last minute went, no, this is my first ball. I'm actually not going to play this. And just left his bat, just hanging out there. And watched the ball land on his bat and then just bobble over to first slip and see you later, gone. And he looked for, I reckon, a good 30 seconds to try and find out, was it a wide? And it's like, well, can't be, he's hit it. Was it a no ball? And it's like, nah, it's only bounced once. It's got to be, it can't be out. And then he's gone through every bit in his head to work out, and then just dropped the head, bat under the arm, walked off. I had to apologise to the bloke. I felt bad. It was one of the worst.
We played him at the high school. I don't think it was the headbutt game. I think it was a different one. And I think you and I opened the bowling maybe, and I bowled the second over to him, and I got a really good innie to him, and he inside edged it for 4. And then the next over, you bowled it just about would have missed the deck, I reckon. Full toss, outside off, and he just tapped it to cover.
Yeah. I reckon that might have been the day. I reckon it was. I reckon you and Shards might have opened the bowling that day.
Ah, yeah.
And
Village bloke.
I reckon he took Shardy for 20-24 off his first over, and I bowled the third, or the third or fourth over, whichever it happened to be, because I was trying to protect a young Shardy at the time. A bloke that's finished last season in the one, so he'll never be on. Fuck that guy.
Someone tag Shardy in the comments and remind him of his shit over. Fuck you, Shard.
Yeah, shout out to Shardy in his fortnight. You turn on to watch it. You turn on to watch the blokes Shardy party streaming his fortnight, and you watch 20 minutes of him sitting in the bloody lobby doing nothing. Play the game, mate. Come on.
Tidy it up, Shard. Tidy it right up. I think
Village fortnight.
Yeah, maybe you should rename your Fortnite stream or Twitch or whatever the hell it's called to Village Fortnite, and tune into this, mate. We've probably got time for one more. We've gone a little bit over what we normally would be. It just goes to show the character of the Duke below me. Look, I really want to touch on one special moment. We've spoken about in episode 2. You were the centre umpire during what has now turned into a 3-year running headband war. Recount the story as you saw it. We've heard my side. I want to hear yours from centre umpire, and eventually we'll get young Nate on to run through just what he was on about that day.
Yeah, that was my first game for the season, and I showed up there and we won the toss and had a bat, and I walked out there and I didn't know that you'd opened the batting the week before and had raging success. I must have been the only person in the Western world that hadn't heard about it. So I was shocked to see you walking out to open the batting. That was the first thing that caught my eye. I didn't even pay much attention to the young bloke walking up to me, and he hands me this brim hat. And I've gone, that's interesting. That's a bit left of centre. Most young blokes don't wear the brim hat, and the fast bowlers definitely don't. But so I'm thinking maybe off spinner or something, just to take the pace off it straight away. And then I see this headband, and I look over at you. I didn't say anything. I just looked over at you. I just gone, oh. And you've given it a bit of, that is a fast headband. I said, that is a fast headband, Pox. This is going to be gas. And he's making his way all the way back to the goalpost to start his run up, and I'm like, oh.
I think he was all the way back to the quarry by that point.
He was in watching Doddsy have a shit in his pads at the pub. That's where he started his run up. And
those who don't know that story, in the same game, one of our most loved cricketers at Belgrave took a stroll over to the pub in his pads to relieve himself because there was no facilities at the ground, and just casually rolled back and took his seat with his pads still on.
Went into the middle to layer 2 with his pads on.
Village.
So anyway, young Nate charges in, and we're all standing there going, I reckon Brad's in trouble here. I reckon he could have his head taken off here by the the sheer force of this headband. And one of those fast bowlers, sort of a Ben Williams style arrangement, just all business on the run up, just charging in. And as soon as he hits the prepared surface, it just, all right, we'll just back it off a bit here and just get through the crease nice and gently, and we'll just put it up there. And yeah, no, he bowls all right. No, he does a little bit with it, but it's the headband is misleading. He's certainly not as fast as Pox.
Oh, not at all. And
you know what? He's a young bloke. He's got time to develop, but I don't know that he's got the temperament. He's given the headband away last season, and it disappoints me. Yeah, it disappoints me to no end that he knows that it makes him
in his numbers.
Yeah, he knows that it makes him faster, and he's put it away. And look, I think it showed in his results. He certainly
to be honest, Bill. I'm pretty over it. He keeps tagging me in headband memes. And, Dan Andrews has announced the roadmap out for Victorians, which is, a pleasing result to have, which basically means for me, come October 29th, Jonathan Smith, Bubs from St. John's, I'm going to bowl some heat at you. You've talked a big game. But Nate Elder, put up, mate. It's coming at you quicker than you've ever faced. Put your headband on, put your thigh pads on, put whatever you want. Wide-brimmed hat on top, helmet on top of that. It's coming at you, mate. It's coming at you.
With some headband-induced gas.
That's probably all we've got time for today, guys. Bill, Duke, anything else to add? I will just say that we're going to have Duke on for a number of episodes. We've got some pretty amazing merchandise that the three of us have produced together. We look forward to sharing them in maybe a short episode coming up soon. I'm laughing thinking about it, but anything you guys have to have before we depart on this sunny day?
No, I just, implore everybody to be ready for, what is still to come, because Hurdy has just got story after story. He seems to be one of those blokes that just, you manage to somehow be there for the story, instigate a hell of a lot of it, and never be the bloke that ends up on the shit end of it all. But, I'm looking forward to a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's always good being the cameraman and never the one in front of the camera.
I think one mantra that Schlick Hurdy lives by is never let facts get in the way of a good story. And we're all about that on the Pox and Bill show. So thanks for joining us, Hurdy. Give us a double cobra. Shout out to all of our village fans. Drop us a note in the comments on who you want to see on the next episode. Won't be Johnny Lavelle. Might be Matty Lavelle tuning in from the home of village cricket, Pittsburgh, whilst working for Uber. But stay tuned for the next one, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.